Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk. Rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Top Lobster Productions.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
Welcome everybody. LPR Friday. Let's see if we get the chat. Let's see. We verify human on this. Suddenly, Rumble's having trouble with some of these pop-ups, but I think we're getting good. Can you account for your location during that Stockton shooting, Counselor? Yes. What's interesting about that? And welcome, Jordan, I believe it is. What's interesting about that one is that's fascinating that you say that. We were at my in-laws. If it's the one you're talking about a few weeks ago, like right after Thanksgiving, we were at my in-laws and driving home, and we were going through Stockton literally about that time or just around there. So good question. This is LPR. This is Tyler Yonke. Thanks everybody for joining us. If you're a new subscriber, right? If you're a new subscriber, make sure you check out our Substack, tyleryonke.substack.com. We do some members only things, and we're going to be doing some members coming up. We did episode 1 of The Lone Gunman. We're going to do episode 2 here coming up shortly. By the way, there's our first by the way. That's a drinking game on this show. If you go to the Substack, and they've now been able to do it streaming a little bit different directly to it rather than through the app. So I don't know if this is going to make a difference. Maybe we go there directly. We'll have to see about this. So your alibi is that you were at the shooting. No, my alibi is that I'm not from South America or Central America, or well, I'm not from Mexico. I think it was Mexican gangs. Quite thinking. I don't think I don't think I did it either. I did not do it. What are we doing tonight? We are going to do tonight, we're going to talk about burning it all down. We're going to do some Charlie Robinson trial stuff, because there's a lot. Every time stuff comes out there, it blows my mind. People will, this one person, and Jose played a clip from this person this morning, like Project Constitution or something like that. And there's some really good stuff on there. They have a clip, but then the clickbait heading for the tweet is just, or the X post is unfathomable. I don't understand sometimes the people, the stuff that they talk about. I think I'm figuring out the camera situation. I think I'm figuring it out, so it's not going to have a problem. I had to cut off the Mac continuity on my other one, so where it automatically picks up the camera. I think that's the problem. Okay, so we've got some people in the chat here for YouTube. That's good. Let's do the full chat here. We don't have anybody coming in yet on Rumble, so we know we're over there on Rumble as well. We have a goal tonight, people. 5 super chats. If we do 5 super chats in the first 45 minutes, that's the goal. We will then do an extra 10 minutes. I'm going to go an hour tonight anyway. It's mixed Asian and black Crips, so yeah, okay. The victims were the Muddy Boys and the Fly Boys, which are Crips sets in Stockton. Yeah, let me tell you about this. So I'm up in outskirts of Sacramento. It's in Sacramento County, but it's right on the corner or the edge of Sacramento and El Dorado County. I practice, I do family law, in case everybody doesn't know that here, family law attorney in California. I primarily practice in 3 counties, okay? Sacramento County, that's the main one. But I do a lot in Placer County. It's up in Roseville. It's also up in Auburn. Anyway, there's Placer there. And then I do El Dorado County, which is in Placerville, okay? So those are the 3 main counties I do. However, I also venture out a little bit into Yolo. That's real close by, just kind of over the causeway. I haven't practiced out there quite some time. A little bit of Alameda. Try not to do any of these counties, but I was doing Stockton for a while. And I pretty much on all of those, I'm busy enough where people call me and I'll help people out. Like a consult. And then, but I'm like, if those counties, first of all, if I don't practice in those counties, it just doesn't work. You need an attorney that's really proficient or that's good in those counties. I always think that helps. I think I do my clients justice by practicing in the counties I do, because I'm able to tell them, the typical thing I do, which is like, look, we're going to court. Here's what's going to happen. And I lay it out. I walk them through all the steps, even the stuff of like, we're going to go in the courtroom. We're first, I'll check in. You sit back here. I have to sit up front, behind the bar. That's literally what it is. I check in. Maybe we meet and confer with counsel, whatever. We may do that. You're going to sit there. You're going to have your phone off. We're going to call us. It's going to be 15, 10 minutes. I walk them through this whole thing. What's going to happen? Here's the options. We have all that. So that when they go there and then, it's this judge, it's in this department, here's the situation, here's this judge's X, Y, and Z. You give them all the layout for a few reasons. One is you want them to be comfortable and prepared. 2, you want them to know that you've been here and that you're comfortable and prepared, okay? You've done your research on the judge, you've been here before, all these little things. It just helps everything along. If I go to a different county, I don't know a lot of those things. Plus there's local rules. So with that in mind, this is my whole point here was I hate Stockton. They put in a new courthouse, which is perfectly fine. It's just mostly up in the air. So it's like, 7, 8 floors for that. I think the family's on 4 and 5. I just don't like going down there. Parking, the city, it's gross. It's just gross. Can you turn off your lights because it's bright? Really? Los Angeles County. You're telling me it's bright. Should I turn off these lights? Is that better? I don't think that's what you want. All right. I have some of these lights up here. Sorry, you're gonna have to deal with it. You have to deal with the brightness. The new court is like an airport. Yeah, so the new court, it is like an airport. It's pretty nice as far as it goes. I'm just not a fan of going there at all, the way everything is. Plus, you can't do remote, so I have to literally drive down there, and it's just not pleasant. So I just tell people I'm not going into Stockton anymore. So anyway, that's my deal with that. Okay, we're going to look. Magoo sent me some stuff after the last, and I know I pissed a bunch of people off. I think Happy Friday. What are we drinking tonight? Yeah, let's put the full chat back up. Banned Photoshop. I did this just for you. So I will get back to what I was going to talk about. There's this brewery up here in Auburn. It's close by our house called Knee Deep Brewery, and they just put a new one in Folsom. And oops, doxing me. So I went over there, picked up some stuff. Tahoe Deep tonight. This is pretty good stuff. It's an IPA. Okay, so that's what I'm drinking tonight. We already went and had one. I'm doing. We're almost done with our 2 bathrooms. It's a bit much. I did the show this last week. I did a bunch of them. Thanks for tuning in. We talked about the podcast wars, and I went pretty. People. I'm gonna try to play some or read some viewer comments, because I know you get some hate comments on a lot of stuff, and I don't always get to them. And I'm planning to do a show, and then sometimes it doesn't always happen. But if you're new to me here, I don't hate Nick Fuentes. I do rip on him a bunch, because I think there's things that you shouldn't take any of these people as like some sort of savior. Everybody you should be able to, I wouldn't say knock them down, but have criticisms, right? He can't take criticism very well, and neither can his people. Some people came after me calling me a lefty. It's like, I don't know what I am. No, I do know. But I would say this: I'm more right than Nick Fuentes, even though I'm mostly an anarchist. I just believe that he believes in collectivism stuff that he, that I just doesn't think works. Anyway, and he's horrible on economics. So you can have your stuff all you want. I'm not a fan of Steven Crowder, but there's things you agree with him there. Piers Morgan, I went after him pretty hard about the interview, but yet I didn't think Nick comported himself completely good. But I could see people that think he won. I could also see people that think that he lost. I'm fine with that. Candace, I'm not a Candace stan, and there's definitely some things she does that are cringe, okay? But I just don't think that it's everything that everyone believes that she's... And I've said this over and over, and it's fascinating because Magoo, our buddy in here, sent me a message. He's more along the lines of Tyler Robinson's situation as reported is what it is. Perfectly fine. He and I were big proponents of the Murdaugh is innocent situation down there in Georgia, where he allegedly and convicted murdered his wife and son. Okay, there were things in the trial you just like, I don't believe it. So we can have these beliefs, okay? So Ian Carroll, there's some Fetty stuff to him, but he does a lot of good stuff too. So anyway, I'm putting all this out there. So Magoo pushes back to me and he sent me this video showing that Candace Owens is lying. Now, lying is very specific. Now, we can say, people just lie and they say untruths, okay? But if we're in court, prove this, perjury, it's not an easy standard. You'd think it is, Comey, we've talked about him, he's going possibly, we'll see about that, how that works. It's the intentional trying to deceive something. So telling them something that's outright false that is true. Think of the defamation type of stuff, okay? So with that in mind, the video, and he's in here right now. The video you sent was this lady, it's basically, it was the issue about like Candace's claim that the text messages aren't real is based on, and she said, basically that Candace is lying, which is that, this kid never uses the word vehicle, or kids don't use the word vehicle. Now, then she shows a clip of him not using the word vehicle. He said car, and then later on he uses it. Okay, so maybe that's deceptive. I don't know. My point on that is, I don't know that it's necessarily lying, or maybe her research isn't so good, okay? I think she pulls strings that I'm perfectly fine going down the rabbit hole of. That's fine. You've got to be skeptical on those as well. Here's the problem, and we're going to play a few little clips here. Posobiec, Megyn Kelly, where they, there's another attorney, where they're just like, this is the evidence, and we're going for, and I'm like, you have seen the criminal complaint, okay? This can be completely bullshit. Until you see the evidence, this means nothing. This just means that they have to have enough probable cause to arrest someone and hold them, okay? That's all it is. They haven't even done the pretrial hearing, okay? So we don't know if they're gonna, and I would say when people go like, well, they have all this evidence, it's like, well, you haven't seen evidence. I'm sorry, you haven't. You've seen a Crowder thing with the bullets. Is that really his? We have to have chain of custody. You have to be able to put everybody into place, because otherwise, as we're going to show here with Megyn Kelly, he's a furry lover and therefore he should be put down. Maybe, maybe so. I thought I charged these lights. They're looking dim already. Okay, let's take a look here, because I'm sure I pissed some people up. Yo, not for locos. Evening, Tyler. Murdaugh was at least not guilty, maybe not innocent. Okay. What is more concerning is Nick hanging out with Clavicular. Who's that? The way they give each other compliments is extremely suspect. I don't know who you're talking about giving each other compliments. You're talking about Steven Crowder and Nick, or who are you talking about specifically? I get this too. I was in Jose's chat and I'm chatting away about some things, and I say things like, he was playing a Nick quote, and Nick's like, I'm gonna do this, and I was like, no, he's not. And you hit enter, and like 10 minutes later, Jose's going through and he reads it. Now he has no fucking idea what I'm talking about. No, he's not. So do better in the chat is what I'm saying to myself and to everybody. Okay, I do want to play, let's start here with a few clips. We're going to start back with the Candace stuff. We're going to go there, and then we're going to get Tyler Robinson. There's trial stuff that took place, and I think it's, this is not the one I wanted to do. Okay, hang on. Okay, why? Why? You're not showing it correctly. Okay, let's go to this one. Pop this in here. Okay, I had this all set up, and now it's not showing the right one. Well, that's a bummer. That is a bummer. Okay, well, let's where's the Megyn Kelly? Is this the one? No, it's not there either. It's not there. It's not there. It's not even pulling from the right feed. People. This is troublesome. Okay, well, who stood? There we go. I think we just got it. OBS is accessing your screen. Holy shit, this is problematic, people. It's it's not doing it. There we go. I don't know why I had to reset all this. Okay, let's start here back. This is what Candace Owens on this one had the thumbnail with Tim Pool. I thought we would start with this, kind of rehashing this, but here we go. She added Tim Pool on there, and she's going to play this.
It's so ridiculous. I couldn't care less. Tim Pool has been one of these people that is crying a lot. So he hosted Milo Yiannopoulos on his show. And first and foremost, he called all of you stupid. He said, he explicitly said, I am saying that people that watch your show are stupid because they're not accepting the Fed slop and that they will not just eat the Fed slop that we are trying to give them. And then it was funny because later on in the show, he kind of lamented the fact that he lost a bunch of subscribers to his show because he attacked me, even though I never attacked him back. But he didn't put two and two together, which would imply that means that people who were watching your show were also watching my show. So you're calling your own fans stupid, which is probably why they unsubscribed. Regardless of that, Milo Yiannopoulos breaks down the real reason why people are upset, the real reason that if we lose midterms, who we should be pinning the blame on. And he's come up with a way more compelling understanding, which is how we're all feeling. The person to blame if Trump loses midterms, if Republicans lose midterms, might be Republicans. It might be Trump. Here is what Milo had to say, and I will add that he is sitting also with George Santos, who joined them. Take a listen.
Jeffrey Epstein, as Bannon has said, and who would know better than him, it turns out.
You're going to quote Bannon, who consulted for Epstein?
I just said who would know better than him, as it turns out.
I just want to make that very clear for everybody listening.
I just said who would know better, as it turns out. He said that Epstein was the key that picks the lock, right? Of all of the kinds of things that people are asking, like, what is going on here? Why is this like this? And why is it? Epstein was one of the central ideological planks of MAGA teleology. Like, why does the world work like it does? Why do things look weird? Why do those people keep getting away with it and those people keep not getting away with it? Jeffrey Epstein was considered by everybody who voted for Donald Trump as a central pillar. Coded for us, like, oh my goodness, it's because of that judge. It's because of that. Everybody had that expectation, and there isn't one person who voted for Donald Trump who did not want and did not expect the Epstein files to be released immediately, in full, unredacted.
I did not have that expectation. I did not vote for Trump.
Okay, fine. Everybody except George, of course.
No, that's not true. There's so many people. I voted for Trump for many other reasons other than that.
Stop it, grow up.
You think that puts food on the table?
Grow up. Oh, come on. It's about egg prices. Stop it.
Come on.
Part of the reason that Trump was elected in 2016 was that Hillary Clinton was emblematic of the way that the world was going wrong. The secret elite collusion, Epstein, it was all linked. And people who voted for him the first time and people who voted for him every time since, you can't find me someone apart from George, apparently, who did not want to see the Epstein files.
Let me ask you.
And I promise I'll wrap up and let someone else go. But when he said, there's no Epstein files, and then the Democrats made it up, and then stop asking, and then if you're asking, you're not a fan of mine, and then if you're asking, I don't want you.
I agree with all of this.
That is the moment Trumpism died.
I agree.
And don't we need a reckoning? And if that reckoning comes through the obviously, I promise I'm nearly done, the obviously inadequate account from the feds and Turning Point about what happened around, before, and after Charlie Kirk's death, where his ride or die homegirl is asking questions that have.
Okay, I'm not playing anymore there because what I've kind of figured, I've gone through this is I didn't look at the whole Timcast thing, but he does have some sort of point, which is she plays a clip here of Milo. She doesn't play a clip of Tim Pool. Okay, she plays a clip of Milo who says some things. Now, did Tim in his soliloquies back and forth say that she's she is the one that is benefiting from the Charlie. I think that, that's probably fair to say. That's not the clip she plays here. So putting Tim in I could see where some people are kind of doing this. Plus, you got this limp wrist, as Eric Fromm said here, limp wristed jousting. Yeah. Clavicular is another up and coming streamer who is into looks maxing. Oh, geez. It's crazy how everything in life is just some gay high school drama. I'm pretty sure I'm dead in purgatory. Two queens arguing. Yeah, this is live. This is live, Minder. By the way, if you're over on Rumble, I'm a little disappointed with I'm trying to have the pop-up working, and Rumble's just shit tonight. So I may have to pop this out. We'll pop out this chat and see if we get any Rumble chats coming through, so I can make sure that see you guys if you say anything there. Did it get there? Okay, the Rumble chat is good, but I'm not signed in. Okay, whatever the hell. Okay, there's that one with that gay guy. Now, here's what Candace, I'm just going to go through some of these, and then we're going to get to the Charlie Kirk stuff. I promise. I'm Charlie Kirk, to the Tyler Robinson stuff, I promise. Here's what she said today, because she wears a hat on Fridays, on Jimmy Dore.
And I can tell you 1,000% that Andrew Colvett told me the night before Charlie was murdered that Charlie Kirk texted him and said, they are going to kill me. Andrew Colvett is the person who received a text message from Charlie Kirk saying they're going to kill me. And I'm not getting that third party. I got that directly from Andrew Colvett. He asked me to keep it off record, and I would have kept it off record if Erika did not imply that I lied, right? So, I mean, I'm not saying she is saying Candace is lying. I am saying that since I was the one who put it out there, she's implying that I'm lying and that that's not true. So we have a scenario here where either Andrew Colvett has told an explicit lie or Erika Kirk is telling an explicit lie. It's not up for me to determine who. I didn't receive that text message, but yeah. And I also was told by a person at Turning Point USA, who I'm not going to name because they are one of my sources, that Dan Flood received the same message. So there you go. I don't know. I believe that she has his phone. I maybe somebody deleted it, but I don't know why Andrew Colvett, 48 hours after Charlie was dead, would lie to me. He did not sound like he was lying. He sounded very concerned about it, and I specifically said, like, who is they? Like, he said they're going to kill me, and he said I don't know who he was talking about, and I thought it's kind of weird. Yeah, that's what I can tell you. I can just tell you the truth.
Okay, so the question in the chat, there's a few. First one, why not show the text? It sounds like that was a phone call. So she's just refuting that she had this conversation. Dude, here is the problem. I saw a text today, and it's like, here's all the lies of Candace Owens, and it was going through, and I was like, actually, these are the ones that we've shown that TPUSA is lied about. Now, once again, there are lies, and then there are just like, we're trying to find some things out, and there's misreporting, okay? And people do need to be careful with this. Candace is not always the best at that. I've literally watched, episodes. I'm listening, and I'm like, wow, this is fascinating stuff. And then she jumps into a new realm of theory, and I'm like, whew, that's it's going a bit much there. However, the Josh Hammers of this world, remember, he came out and he's like, Charlie was steadfast at this and this. He never said, he was giving up Israel. And then they show the text, and you're like, okay, you're out. That's outright lying. You're in the text messages. So those are the kind of things that are frustrating here. But it's really just drama, right? It's someone said this, and I think it was actually Nick Fuentes. He said, I'm not watching this. That's my Nick Fuentes. I'm not watching this soap opera. I'm like, okay, that's actually solid. Calling it a soap opera, I don't have a problem with that. Kind of hard to bring receipts to hearsay. There you go. Hearsay, exactly. Now, Magoo, you sent me that message in the video, and the lady, what she's talking about there, everyone who says the evidence is out there, that's all hearsay. We have not seen any of the evidence. It's all hearsay until we get to court and they're going to be putting this out. Okay, so it's just, you're right. So these text messages between Tyler Robinson and his fluff furry guy are real. I don't know. That's someone saying it. What's hearsay? Hearsay is an out-of-court statement made for the truth of the matter asserted. In other words, that statement itself is truth. Now, there's exceptions to hearsay, mental state, excited utterance, all these kind of little things you can put in there. But it's an out-of-court statement made by one of the party opponents. Not actually, admission of a party opponent is something that can be used in court. So Tyler Robinson, a statement he's made, he doesn't have to go testify. Other people can say, this is what he said, which you'd think is hearsay, but he's the party opponent, so it could come in, okay? There you go, that's an exception. But all these text messages, so if they're real, they're gonna bring them in, but they have to authenticate them, okay? You can't just say, Kash Patel said that there was text messages. He saw text messages. That's great. That's enough to indict this guy. It's not going to be enough to get a conviction or to even bring those statements into court. If you want these text messages in court, you're going to have to authenticate them. Someone is going to have to show that they are legit. And I'm just telling you, you can do that in multiple ways. Did you guys see the Karen Reed trial? Celebrite data, right? It's companies that they were literally arguing over timestamps and all this stuff, because they were able to extract all this evidence from the phone. There you go. So that's what we're going to have. So at this point, here's my issue with all this. When you come out and you say it's definitive X, Y, and Z, why? It's because you believe that person that's telling you. It's not because you've seen the evidence. It's not because the evidence is being presented. It's because you believe the evidence. Do the police ever lie? Sure. Does the FBI ever lie? Who was going to come into, the FBI on day one and turn that into a museum of the deep state? It was Kash Patel. And why was that? Because the FBI was so corrupted that he had to just turn it down. So somehow he comes in and suddenly it's not corrupted anymore. I'm going to play a clip here. Let's maybe play this one, because this one is Megyn Kelly, and it fascinates me, the same idea of left can only be the bad people. The right are the virtuous ones simply by their titles, okay, of how they identify. And once you identify a certain way, you are incorruptible, okay? That's kind of what she's putting out here. But let's put this. She goes in, she does this appeal to authority too. I've told you before that people, what's his name? I don't remember now. He's a historian. Tom Woods does this as well, that are very good at analyzing legal aspects, case law, of Supreme Court stuff. You don't have to be an attorney for that. So you can learn all kinds of things, okay? You can, I'm literally doing, my bedroom or bathrooms and redoing stuff. We have contractors because at this point I needed some of that. But I'm also doing a lot of the stuff myself. I'm going to be doing the floors. I'm not a flooring expert, but I do really good work because I've made myself, good about it. Okay, let's go.
We begin today on the court appearance by Tyler Robinson, the man accused extremely credibly of murdering our friend Charlie Kirk in September.
Now, let's break this down, because Minder says we don't know, but we know. Okay, well, maybe we do. Maybe we do know, but we know. But you've got to, there's a lot of things in here I'm not just taking off face value, okay? But credibly accused, okay, perhaps. I would say this, there's a lot of stuff that's going in, and I need to break this down, like the gun. I don't think that that's actually been shown. I know Magoo has pointed that out, but Ian was breaking that down again the other day, and I don't think that I think the New York Post retracted from what they had, because they had a stock photo, so it's not the actual gun. Once again, this is what we have a trial for, okay, and evidence. But she's like credibly accused. Okay, in her opinion. I think so. I would say that, but once again, we'll have to wait and see.
He made his first in-person court appearance yesterday out in Utah. He had appeared virtually in 2 previous hearings, and he was allowed to wear civilian gear, not a prison jumpsuit, in order to protect his...
Okay, let's start there. We talked about that. It's commonplace. The fact that they're even having to file motions for this. There are people out there, Jack Posobiec and others, saying Candace is tainting the jury pool. Why is she tainting the jury pool? Because people that are interested in this, and everyone around there in Utah, is hearing her, and they're going to be influenced. Okay, Okay. Do you believe in innocent until proven guilty? Because if you do, which the court is obliged, they have to have that standard, okay, then you don't want them seeing him in a jumpsuit. Otherwise, you're tainting the jury pool itself. So of course the court honored this and said he can appear in court because someone might be watching this and they might be picked on a jury, and you can't have him in a jumpsuit. It's just prejudicial. It's just too prejudicial. The harm versus the prejudicial, it's going to be over. I'm sorry, it's going to happen all the time. So the fact that she's even making this comment is stupid. And when you do that, you can think that he's guilty all you want. And if the evidence is so good, why does it matter that he's not in a jumpsuit, a prison outfit? So let's continue with this, because remember,
presumption of innocence, given that while there are obviously no jurors yet, this trial doesn't take place until tentatively January of 2027. He would be on camera with the media there, and they don't want to taint the jury pool. So great, he gets to stand there like some sort of upstanding citizen in his blue button-down shirt. And
what is the point here, Megan? I know you're a hottie, honestly, hottie. Let's not argue over this. I'm not going to say she's having blood out of her wherever, like Trump did. Yeah, you're going to. Why are you picking this one? Why does he have to be in a jumpsuit for you? Unless you don't know anything about the criminal justice system. Maybe you don't know anything about it, but she's going to say she knows everything about it.
He was all smiles, which is fucking disgusting. I
watched it. All smiles, bullshit. There was about 15 minutes. The cameras came on. And by the way, we're going to play a little bit of this. The judge, kind of knocks this down. The cameras come on. His attorney is talking to him. It's about 15 minutes before the judge even gets there. And she's making jokes with him, and he's kind of smiling. I mean, give me a break. He's been in a prison cell. It just, when people say this kind of stuff, now, if it's during trial and he's acting this way, go fuck yourself, okay? That's not the time and place. But 10, 15 minutes before, it's not even pre-trial here. It's like way out there. You're going to make comments about this. Let's assume this guy is as guilty as can be, okay? Let's just assume that. Who fucking cares that he's doing this at this point? What is it to you?
Because I guess he's feeling joyful. He's maybe feeling like he's going to get away with it. I don't know what he's thinking. I do care, but I don't care about his well-being. His parents sat in the front row. The mother was crying. I mean, I'm sorry that she's sad, and I'm sorry she raised a killer, but that's what she did.
Now, isn't Megyn Kelly, you can have all these opinions, perfectly fine. He's, guilty in the public square. We've done this over and over with people. But isn't she tainting the jury pool too? I mean, you can't complain about tainting the jury pool, which people like Posobiec and others do about Candace, if you're going to be saying that he's just, mother. Let's keep going. And what is the evidence that she's really going to point to? Let's go there.
Again, I have some empathy for the parents, but not for him whatsoever. And the parents, for the record, did the right thing when they.
Whoops.
Court appearance, but.
Okay, let's get back to there. So I think this is
not for him whatsoever. And the parents, for the record, did the right thing when they recognized their son from the pictures that were released of the crime scene by the FBI within the hours after Charlie was.
I have not dug into everything, but is my understanding that this was the report. It's like fourth degree of hearsay. It's parents to this guy that then contacted a policeman that then. I don't know that we have any documented evidence or proof that he, because I think it's been back and forth here, that he admitted to it, okay? That the parents turned him in. I mean, to me, I've heard reporting going back and forth in this. And then Jim in here is saying, you can check, here we go. You can check to see the first time the photo of the rifle appeared on the internet. It was the day the New York Post story was posted. But it's my understanding, and I will look into this for you, okay? It's my understanding that the New York Post retracted that because that was a stock photo, and that the FBI has not ever released the actual photo of the rifle. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm hearing. And if I'll find that out, we'll check that out. There is something I'm interested in. Incorrect. It wasn't a stock photo. The New York Post didn't retract the story. It's still up. Okay. When there is a crime like this, there should be arrest. When there is a crime like this, they should arrest all the nearby furries regardless. Could be. So Jim, I will, Magoo, I will gladly look into this a little bit. Send me the New York Post story. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, let's keep going.
The picture of the gun that the FBI released, and they contacted him. They were the ones who identified their own son as having been the person in the photos, and that having been the gun that his grandfather gave to him. They contacted their son asking where he was. They eventually figured out that it was him. He reportedly confessed to his parents, who then brought in a family friend who was both a pastor and connected with law enforcement to convince Tyler Robinson to turn himself in, which is what happened. That's how this went down. That's why, among other reasons, he was arrested. His fingerprints were all over the gun, were reportedly over, I can't remember if it was the ammo.
All of this is fine. The problem I do have, and Jim last time, or Magoo last time said, look, the best people to determine this are not ballistic experts online. I could be paraphrasing here. Ballistic experts online, but first responders. Now, some of those that I've seen, there was a Green Beret guy, I think Valhalla, where I think he was a first responder for the military. Okay. Then there's the Chris Martinson, who was a coroner or a pathologist, like had literally done all these things with dead bodies. They're breaking this down. So, you can take this. So my problem is, I don't know, maybe they're going to have to connect. This is what they have to do. They have to show the death was caused by the bullet that's in Charlie Kirk, that bullet is then connected to the rifle, then connected to Tyler Robinson. Okay. You're going to have to make that connection, and it's going to have to be more than just like, here's this gun we found in the woods and Charlie Kirk is dead. Did a 30-06 do this damage? Nick Fuentes, for his part, at least TPUSA is leaning on God, saying his neck was so thick that it stopped this 30-06, which I've shot many times through like metal. Okay. Stumps out here in the forest. I'm going shooting tomorrow morning. I don't have a 30-06 with me, but maybe I should get one just to do some stuff myself. Go do it yourself, people. But Nick Fuentes believes with Jean-Pierre Grippe or whatever that weirdo guy up maybe or maybe not killed his wife. We don't know because she's just disappeared. He believes that the 30-06 bullet was stopped from the skin. Okay, so it went in, it entered just fine, but it didn't exit because the skin made it flounder around. It didn't even hit off the spine. So these are things initially where you're like, okay, well, prove to me this is different. And then we have hypothesis. You have, the scientific process, which is people going out and shooting, trying to replicate this. Sometimes it's not able to be replicated. Maybe it was a skin. I don't know. Then sometimes it should be replicated, and not with a deer carcass or a deer that someone's had. It's with, some of these other things. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying Tyler Robinson isn't the guy. I'm saying that's a little shady. So she can talk about the guns being found, and he has, look, I have right now, if you were to grab my gun, my fingerprints are all over it. They're all over the bullets too. Did my gun, though, shoot Charlie Kirk? That's the question. Did that gun shoot Charlie Kirk? It seems odd that gun would have been the one based on the bullets and the pound force and everything that we know. But okay, let's keep going here with Megyn Kelly.
In addition to the doors leading to the rooftop, etc., and in addition to confessing to his parents, he confessed to his trans furry lover in text messages that, I grant you, sound odd. They sound a little pre-scripted, but that does not lead sane people to believe this was the FBI creating a false dialogue, but possibly these two freaks, Tyler Robinson and his trans furry boyfriend, creating a false dialogue to, in my view, at best, try to exonerate Lance Twiggs, the trans furry boyfriend, from knowing about this thing in advance, which I believe he did. I believe he knew in advance, and I believe his weird trans furry community knew in advance, and some couldn't keep their fucking mouths shut and started spewing off online about wait until September 10th. Wait until you see what happens September 10th. And then when Charlie was murdered, went back online to say, I told you. So I'd love to know where things...
Once again, if you're going to do this, just then show us where this, do you have, screenshots of this? Where is this, all this, if it's out there, then just show us screenshots. Don't just pontificate from what you have, since you're putting this theory out there. Also, look, people, this is the problem, which is, this is my problem with the right, which is, I get it. I'm not a fan of the furry shit, but they are, Jack Posobiec, all these, you are guilty because of this activity that you have done. It's just, they want it to be true so bad that, to me, it is problematic. You're not stepping back a little bit, right? He can be guilty because he hated Charlie Kirk, because he did love a tranny and whatnot. Okay, that's fine. But just the fact that he is one doesn't mean that then he is guilty. I mean, you've got to separate these two things. And she should be smarter than this, but she makes a lot more money than I do doing podcasting. So who am I to tell her how to tell the truth?
Things stand with that piece of the investigation. But because I am a sane person who understands the law, I also know that the FBI, does not run around updating its investigation and releasing the very latest on what they found. And people who are demanding that the FBI or DOJ do so do not know anything about law enforcement.
Well, good point. Problem is, this is the state, Utah, is doing this. So I know the FBI is involved, but I don't think the FBI even has jurisdiction for this. They're not charging anybody on this. So the evidence is all going through the state. So, okay. And yeah, so we don't know. But she is very, very convinced of the evidence the FBI has been given. Why is the FBI giving out any evidence? So which way do you want it?
Some of us have been covering in depth legal cases and matters and have even tried cases and matters for years.
I don't think she has. I would be really shocked if she ever tried a case.
That is how.
And I mean, like in trial. Maybe she took a case and she helped someone. She wrote a document. Maybe she wrote a brief or two. But you're telling me Megyn Kelly's tried a case?
I have spent the past 30 years of my life, plus trying cases involved in the legal system as a trial attorney, then a Supreme Court correspondent covering cases, civil and criminal, then as a legal correspondent for Fox News, legal commentator for Fox News, and ever thereafter.
Fascinating. So with that said, let's go back to what I said earlier, which is she's baffled that he would be able to wear street clothes to court. But did you hear all the litigation she's done? I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but you shouldn't act like it's a derelict of the judicial system that he's able to appear in court in civies. If you have all this, I mean, I really want to Google right now. I just want to Google Megyn Kelly litigated cases. I'm suspect. And I bet I'm just, I'm not going to put my law degree on this or my life or my mortgage, but I would be suspicious. I suspect. My theory is that Megyn Kelly yes, she was a lawyer at one point. That she maybe was in a big firm. She did some work. She was never lead. She never did try a case. I just would put I'm not going to put a lot on it, but I would suspect that that's the case. Whereas little old me, I do trials all the time. Okay. Still, even at my advanced age.
And let me tell you something. The FBI does not run around updating its information after somebody gets indicted. It doesn't. It would be extraordinary if it were to do so. And the DOJ is extremely tight-lipped, normally, on its criminal cases. When it's not, it's behaving inappropriately. When it's not, you have rogue prosecutors who wasn't with the DOJ, Tish James, but like her, the Attorney General of New York, running around trying to update her case against Donald Trump, or Fani Willis shooting her mouth off about Donald Trump. What did we do when those prosecutors did that? We ripped them a new one because it's inappropriate. Stop requesting or requiring the FBI or the DOJ to update its evidence for you. You're not the target audience. They're trying to preserve the integrity of this case for when they get it in front of a jury, who are the only people who matter.
Okay, well, the FBI isn't prosecuting this. The DOJ isn't even prosecuting this. It's the state of Utah. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Beyond that, did you notice there how Fani Willis, Letitia James, they are the bad ones. Otherwise, you know, the justice system is amazing. We do amazing stuff because they're lefties. Right. Let's get back into the chat here. I say down the spine because the outer temporary expansion of the flesh ripples down. Okay. So about 6 inches of muscle and sinew and shot deflected down the spine. Could be. To be fair, the truck was anemic and Japanese. Okay, I don't know what that was to do with. Righteous James says, these experts are saying it's impossible for a 30-06 to not. There are experts that are refuting that, saying they have seen it numerous times. Look, seen it? Okay, fine. It's seen it in what? In an antelope, in a rhino. Why can't they reproduce this then? If they've seen it multiple times, put a video camera, do some shooting from 100 to 200 yards. I think 140 is the, you know, technically the range. From that angle, do some shooting on some targets, some pork brines or whatever it is, pork heads, some fake, whatever they use for this, and see if you can have it do that. Everything I've seen, they keep doing hundreds of shots and it just goes through. When I've shot this 30-06, it just blows the shit out of what you're shooting at. So perhaps they've seen it. All I'm telling you is, if you, as an example, I could see some of these shooting, you do all these examples, Tyler Robinson technically could bring someone in, because we saw this with Karen Reed, right? Reconstruction. You reconstruction the scene and you're like, I did 100, maybe I did 200, maybe I did 1,000 shots, 0 went through his neck, stopped. Every single one went through his neck. I'm going to testify as an expert, and I'm going to give you the dimensions. I'm going to give you everything that I reconstructed this, and it could not happen. That's what you could do. Maybe the prosecution's like, we had an expert and he was able to do it. And, 1 out of 200 times, it stopped. It didn't go through. Okay, now you have a possibility. It's not good odds, but you only need it to happen that once. So let's reproduce it. You did say, have you not seen them post predicting them celebrating it? I have not. So there you go. You got me. Okay, that's enough from Megyn Kelly. She's really upset about this. What I want to do, let's start here with Tyler Robinson in court.
Just a database of the people's.
What just happened? 44. Okay, there we go. So he was in here, and this was kind of the stuff, and it's like 15 minutes of this with his attorneys, and then we're waiting, and finally the judge comes in, and he's going to break it down what we're going to talk about. Let me go to 1.25 speed. I don't want to play a ton of this stuff here, but we'll do a little taste of what this is like.
Court is now in session. Counsel, if you could enter your appearances, please.
Your Honor, Christopher Ballard, Ryan McBride, Chad Grunander, and Lauren Hunt on behalf of the state.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kathy Nestor, excuse me, Richard Novak, Stacey Visser on behalf of Mr. Robinson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Very typical. Every time I go to court, For the record, the judge says appearances, please. Tyler Yonke for the petitioner, blah, 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 who's present or who's online or whatever it is. Also
Your Honor,
available
Jeff
online.
Hunt and David Ryman appearing on behalf of the media interveners that are identified in our motion papers.
Good afternoon.
Michael Judd, Your Honor, Parsons, Bailey, and Latimer, on behalf of another set of media interveners also identified in the briefs.
Good afternoon, and I recognize Mr. Robinson in the courtroom as well. Good afternoon. And to further benefit of the record, calling case 251-403-576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Counsel, as we're moving forward today, I want to give an overview of what we anticipate doing. And it comes down, we're addressing 3 issues. The first is the October 14th, 2025 audio recording of the closed hearing and the October 24th, 2025 transcript of that hearing. The second is the state's motion to amend or clarify the publicity order, commonly known or referred to as the gag order. And finally, the motion for limited intervention to close, seal, or reclassify, and which has been filed by the media organizations and by counsel who are present today. So as we begin, the first part is we'll begin by addressing the October 14th audio recording and the October 24th transcript. This portion of the hearing will be closed so that I may hear from the parties regarding which portions of the recording, the record should remain sealed. All members of the public and the press will be excused, and the hearing will not be broadcast. And this is because I need to hear what should or should not be sealed or protected, and it would not benefit to have everyone listen to what should be sealed. And so after I've heard argument, we will invite all parties, or the public and the media, to come back in, and the hearing will resume transmission.
Now, I have no clue, because we're not able to hear it, what should be sealed. We have this oftentimes in family court because it's a juvenile, and sometimes, I just was doing a step-parent adoption issue the other day where we're terminating the rights of the father. Total piece of shit, so perfectly fine. New stepdad's adopting 3 kids that he's been in their life for a long time. Good to have it. And they kick everyone out of the courtroom except for the family. They've actually allowed the kids in, which is odd because typically anybody under 18 is not allowed in the court. So that happens. But that happens a lot in family court because of the sensitivity of minors. I don't know what's happening here that's so sensitive they can't have this. Probably security issues, but we're going to go through those a little bit more.
We will then take up the motion for limited intervention, followed by the state's motion to amend or clarify the publicity order. These portions, the last 2 portions.
By the way, it's been pretty suspect here. I had a goal of 5 super chats in the first 45 minutes, and I would do an extra 10, and we've got no super chats, no time. Okay, so you guys are great. Thanks.
Will be open to the public and to the press. After hearing argument on all 3 matters, I will take a brief recess and then return to issue my ruling today. We will then stand in recess. So at this point, we'll go ahead and excuse the public temporarily.
Your Honor, we have one request with respect.
Yes, counsel.
Thank you.
By the way, this is the feed. It's not me. Just letting you know.
Richard Novak for Mr. Robinson. Mr. Robinson has some immediate family members who are present, his father, his mother, and his brother, and we would ask the court to permit them to remain in the courtroom during the closed portion of the hearing.
To the state.
My only concern with that, Your Honor, is that we're going to be talking about court security measures. And I don't know that we'll have to go into a lot of detail about that, but I do have concerns about discussed in public.
All right. Mr. Novak, do you have authority that supports allowing them to remain in a closed hearing?
No, I think it's subject to the court's discretion to decide who is and is not an appropriate member of the public. I think they have a unique relationship with Mr. Robinson, and they would certainly abide by any orders the court makes concerning disclosure of what is discussed in closed session. But obviously, it's up to the court.
Thank you, Mr. Novak. I'm going to rule that they will be excluded as well. It is just given the nature and the sensitivity of it, I believe it is appropriate to treat all parties in the public equally, though I do recognize their relationship with Mr. Robinson. Thank you for your request. All right, we will go into the
Okay. And I wanted to play that because there at some point, let's take a look here. I'll try to find this. I had a bookmark. Let's see if I could see. Almost there. Almost there. There's a lot of crazy shit going on here. Here we go. Here we go. So this was to me. Here's a. This isn't it. Why is this? Why is this doing this? No, it's still not doing it. Okay, hang on, people. I think I've got. I don't know why it's causing all kinds of problems. Okay, this is the guy Project Constitution or whatever it is here. He put this post up, and I just think it's fascinating the way people do this clickbait stuff. Breaking! Judge in Tyler Robinson's case just ordered today's hearing closed to the public. Tyler Robinson's parents banned from watching their own son's trial with like a Home Alone face. Today, Tyler Robinson showed up to his first in-person hearing in civilian clothes. His parents, his brother, his whole family were sitting right there in the courtroom ready to support him. Within 60 seconds of the hearing started, the judge closed the courtroom to the public and the media and then kicked Tyler's parents out and brother so the government could discuss court security measures in secret. Translation, the same people screaming Tyler's family abandoned him, they're saying goodbye. They just got caught lying in 4K. I mean, come on. Jack Posobiec, Benny Johnson, and every 7K club bot spent the last week pushing the scripted tearjerker. His own parents turned him in and said goodbye forever. That's why they're silent. That's true. They have been saying that. I have a clip here of Posobiec saying that exact thing. Reality check. They're silent because their gag order in the state just proved they'll throw family members out of courtroom the second they might hear something the regime wants hidden. This is Soviet level intimidation on American soil. Tyler's family didn't abandon him. The system just banned them from watching their own son's trial. The same paid influencers who told you trust the official story are the ones who lied to your face and the parents saying goodbye. We see you. We're not forgetting, and we're definitely not shutting up. Drop an American flag if you're done with the coordinated disinformation. Tag every Tyler's family left him. Show you know. The mask is off. Okay, there's so many problems with that, which is just like, you're kind of right. If you want to take on Benny and Posobiec, I'm perfectly fine with that. But you're so off base. This isn't even a preliminary hearing. This is a preliminary hearing. Right? I mean, it's not even the pre-trial hearing, I should say. It is a preliminary hearing. We're literally, the court wants to, and I think what happened with the prosecution was very, trying to dodge the edges here is like, we're going to talk about security measures of him coming in and out of the courthouse. We don't want to give the family any indication of like what's happening, that they might set a stage to set him free. I mean, that makes sense. It's not that the family's banned from seeing his trial. This isn't the trial. This is pre-trial, and it's security shit. This is the dumbest fucking thing ever. But yes, because then he does tag this Posobiec douche, and he's talking about, a few minutes in here about Charlie, his family. Let's say
him on suicide watch, something I dealt with when I was at Guantanamo Bay, putting detainees at suicide watch, that type of thing. Self-contained cell, it's usually 6x10 or 8x10. We're talking 60 to 80 feet, many of which have a sink and a stainless steel toilet that's bolted to a wall, floor is flat, with a mattress. And so, folks, what can we glean from this? What can we glean from the fact that Tyler Robinson's parents are holding virtual visits with him? Well, it really, for me, I would say it puts their silence in a different light, because a lot of people have been saying if Tyler Robinson were innocent, or if his family believed they were innocent, why then would they not be going public? Well, we know they're not going public because they're going private, and they're speaking to their son privately through these virtual visits. Brian Netton even said several times a week that they're holding these. So similar to the way that he was virtually appearing in court, Robinson at his various pretrial hearings. I believe there's another one set up for next week on December 16th. And just from a parent's perspective, I'll always go back to this as, imagine watching TV and seeing something as horrific as the murder of Charlie Kirk, a 31-year-old man, young father, husband, and then they put the pictures up of the suspect. They say, this is the suspect, this is the rifle. And you look at it, and we're told that according to the documents, according to the legal filings there by the Utah prosecutors, that it was his mother who first identified him. Then she went to the father.
Okay, I'm just sick. Okay, so they identified him, but they don't know that he shot him. Whatever. By the way, I'm having some issue with the sign-in stuff, but the chat. But I do want to announce here, Jim Magoo, who we've been going back and forth with. I love you like a brother that I've never met. Looking forward to the preliminary $4.99 super chat. Looking forward to the preliminary trial in May so we can finally hear how the case is going to go, more or less. I have said, if you watch this show, I've said from day one, I'm glad that Tyler Robinson is alive because we're going to get a trial. You're also, too, going to have to get his defense attorney. They were just talking about preliminary hearings and stuff, and she's like, whoa. You said in the news, the media, that you were going to go for the death penalty, okay? You've already announced you're going through the death penalty. Therefore, we have heightened issues for discovery. You've got to start giving shit over. Exactly right. If Tyler Robinson is the guy, and you're going to have a trial, it needs to be totally transparent. It needs to be open. We need to have as best trial as we can have here. He needs to have really good defense attorneys so that when we're done, if he's the guy, we're sure about it and we can stop all this. Exactly what you said earlier, Magoo, which is all these people are playing into, they're not going to believe any of the evidence. If we're able to go there and they show metadata, they show, the fingerprints on the bullets, they're able to match the bullet to the cartridge, to the gun, to Charlie Kirk. Now we've got some issues. Now we're rolling. Okay, can they match that the bullet inside him that they found is at least the one that came from the gun? Let's do that. If that's the case, we're like, hey, if he gets up and testifies that, hey, I did this, or I was a patsy, or Kash Patel put me up to this, whatever it is, it will be interesting. I totally agree, and that's why you need to have transparency. But it's also why you can say fuck off to the Pasobic likes. Also, JC gave $4.99, said let's hit that goal. Appreciate it. Great. Yeah, so we're not going to be able to put the chat up here for some reason. The gag order applies to attorneys, not explicitly any witnesses, says Magoo. That is not correct. We've gone over this before. The judge actually said this applies to witnesses. Now, at the time, the defense was, or one of them was like, and they actually talked about it in this hearing as well. They said, look, that can be almost anybody. And they said, actually, it's going to be, because you're right, it could be thousands of people. They said it's going to be anybody that the prosecution or defense identifies as a witness. Further, in this this hearing that they just had this last week, they expressed that even more. And the defense is like, look, because someone had asked this online. It's like, what Erika, right? She's out there, she's pushing a book. But what if she says something that's related to, being a witness, right? It could be potentially anybody. The gag order, I will say, said any potential witnesses, and then the judge expressly talked about anybody, and they talked about this specific issue. And like I said, he was like, well, it's anybody identified as such, which is typical. Now, it's on the attorneys to make sure that the witnesses are following the gag order. So if you got a witness, you've identified him, you're like, look, you're going to be a witness, please don't go fucking talk. And the attorneys can be sanctioned for the people talking. So they've got to make sure to tie that down. But the family, if they turned him in, there's a good chance they're going to be witnesses. Erika Kirk could be a witness. I don't know. I mean, the phone issue, that's kind of a weird thing, right? She's got the phone. It's like maybe there's other ties in there. Technically, if you really think about it, you're like, Tyler Robinson is the trial here. It's not the FBI on trial. So I don't know that really ties her in. So maybe she can say what the fuck she wants. But his parents, they would be listed. I'm imagining they could be subpoenaed by the prosecution if, as Jack Posobiec says, this is the fucking thing that's so stupid about this guy. Okay. He just said, why are they not talking? There's a gag order about, they turned him in. Remember, he said, they are not talking and they turned him in. If they turned him in, they're going to be called as witnesses. If he had said anything to them, they don't have any, it's not like they have some sort of privilege. Parental privilege? You don't have a parental privilege. You have a spousal privilege. You have a penitent privilege. You don't have a parental privilege. So they wouldn't have any privilege. They would have to testify. If they turned their son in, they would have to testify to that. If they're going to testify to that maybe he admitted it to them, that would be very significant to the prosecution. If that's the case, are they a witness? Are they going to be called to testify? Are they under the gag order at that point? Absolutely. Fuck you, Posobiec. I just buried him. That's yeah, it's pretty easy to see how that would be the case, how you could do this. Okay, should I even play any more to this? I did want to play a little bit because there's some other things here. Let's see here if this is the one. Okay, I thought this was interesting. The defense has actually done a motion to exclude the cameras from the court. I don't understand that. Maybe Tyler's talking to them in silence and he's saying, look, man, it's a problem. I killed him.
Purpose of this whole process.
This is the media. This is an attorney for the media, and actually he was pretty good. So they come up. Let's see here. I want to make sure I don't. The defense comes up here. They argue that the media should be kind of left out. Kind of, not to the full extent. He comes up here and talks, and we'll play a little bit of this.
You know, whether you do it under Rule 24, whether you do it as a judicially created, remedy, it doesn't matter. It's the same. It gets to the same place, which is just that we are interveners for the very limited purposes that we've set forth in our order. We're not going to be here at every hearing arguing. We didn't take a position on the gag order motion that you just heard. We are only planning to appear and argue so that the court has the benefit of someone who's representing the interests against closure. Because as you know, and this is sort of why we're here today, a lot of time this just happens by stipulation. Because these, the state and Mr. Robinson's lawyers, they may not want to fight over a particular issue. And so it really is a situation where no one really represents that interest. And the purpose of this whole process is to give the court the benefit of the briefing that we've submitted and the benefit of arguments to represent the public's right.
Okay, that's what he's saying. Now, I want to play this. This is the defense counsel. And when I was watching this live, I thought it was the prosecution. I thought she was part of the prosecution, but she is part of the defense. So check this out. Maybe. 404-49, let's reset this here.
And the purpose of this whole process.
And do just. And really that is what we are primarily concerned with. What does that mean? What does that enable them to do? What jurisdiction is this court exercising over them as a result of them being a limited purpose party? Because I do believe that is another aspect of asking to intervene in a case. I do think that Rule 24 does not apply here. I think that's what we learned from the Supreme Court. They don't want individuals using Rule 24 of the Rules of Civil Procedure because it's too expansive. It's about broad entry into a case for many purposes. In the instances where our courts have allowed intervention into civil cases, and I want to be very clear here, the case law is in the civil arena. There are very few instances where we're dealing with this in a criminal case on appeal. So we're a little bit in the dark, and we're asking this court to kind of wade through and make a decision that potentially hasn't been made before. But I would ask the court to be very clear, no matter what it does, on what the media can and can't do in this case. And it sounds to me like the media has somewhat conceded that their role in this case is under Rule 4-202.04, and their role is to have a voice regarding closure, which has already happened today and will surely happen again. We have no objection to that. And to be clear, we're not objecting to the court's order about notice. We will follow the court's order. We have no problem with it. But we do want this court to make the procedure very crystal clear. We want time frames. We want orders saying this is when you need to respond so that we don't end up with filings like we did this week, very shortly before the hearing. We're all attorneys. We all know that these things happen from time to time, and we're not unreasonable folks. If they reach out to us, we will grant reasonable requests for extension, just so everyone is aware. But there was no communication. So I want it very, very clear what they can and can't do. It's less about semantics. This isn't about semantics. It's about substance. What are they allowed to do?
Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. But first of all, I want to do this. I was able to put up the chat here. There you go. There's Righteous Gemstones, $4.99. Looking forward to preliminary trial in May so we can finally hear the case going forward, more or less. I totally agree. Thank you, Jim Magoo, for doing that. JC, let's hit the goal. I love you for that. JC is the best chatter, best viewer. Let's hands down. Come on, people. Back Tower Gang, all the way. Whatever your show is, he is there supporting us. Okay. The defense does, however, want to push to expand the gag order. And what does that say about the defense's case? I think you're right. And a matter of fact, it's interesting that this lady here that was arguing, the defense attorney, came about because I thought it was the prosecution. I'm like, that's odd. We're going to play a little bit because it was important to hear what she's saying. Late filings, they're not given proper notice. There's no criminal cases that they can cite to do this. And then we're going to have the media attorney come in and refute that. And it's very interesting. I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's the prosecution. It wasn't the prosecution. It was the defense team. So Jim, you've got a good point there. Okay. The gag order, I don't know what the point is of the defense trying to do this. I think it's the police department is also, or the what I wanted to say, the sheriff's department has also put in a motion like this, and then the defense in a brief, in a reply, said they wanted to gag or do more gagging, more gagging further. So there we go. So we're going to do this. Pozo just admitted to a war crime, perhaps. If Tyler is a patsy and didn't do it, then question does arise. Why aren't the parents saying, get my son out of jail? I think that's what Jack is bringing up. That is what Jack is bringing up. However, as I've said, there's a gag order in place. It could be part of it. I'm just saying there's an excuse why the family isn't speaking out. Okay. Anytime the defense is one pushing restrictions, i.e. gag orders, removing cameras, doesn't that say something to the strength of their case, being pretty weak? Look, I will say this. Perhaps you as a defense attorney want to do everything you can to set the stage that you're going to win. I'm just watching again, and I've already watched one of these shows. It's called Love and Death. It's about Candy Montgomery, this lady that killed her. She was cheating on her husband with this other guy, okay, in 1980. And then the other guy's name is Alan Gore. His wife finds out about it. She's already a little unstable. The lady comes over this cheating. Her name is Candy. And basically the lady kind of attacks her with an axe and she kills her. Okay, she kills the guy that she's been sleeping with, his wife, okay? Now, they had stopped their affair about 8 months earlier because he was reconciling with his wife and things were going pretty good. His wife, like I said, was a little unstable. The wife then attacks the mistress, who she's already married as well, and then the mistress kills her. Now, the killing was 41 axe shots. She used the axe and chopped her up 41 times. She goes to trial and she gets acquitted. Okay, this shit happens. So you've got to do what you've got to do when you're going to court to make it so you get the best chance possible that your story gets told. Maybe that's gagging the media. I don't know. It doesn't. Maybe there's a weak part. I've gone into cases and I'm like, you are the righteous person, but here's the weak spot. You've got to identify the weak spots, people, and then you've got to do what you can to do it. And just because they're, as an example, your wife gets killed, your spouse gets killed or whatever, you had nothing to do with it. The police go, oh, spouse, husband or wife, they're the most likely person. I'm going to go talk to them. And you go, I think I need an attorney. and you're going to be going like, ha, 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 that's what guilty people always say. Or that's what smart people say, right? I'm not going to talk. I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right. I'm not going to, you've given me Miranda rights. I'm going to say, go fuck yourself. I want an attorney. Do it. Always do it. Doesn't mean you're guilty. It just means you're smart. Maybe that's what's happening here. Okay. Anytime the defense is pushing back, okay, you said that, pretty weak. Why should this guy get special treatment? He shouldn't get special treatment. You're exactly right. But the judge does have to not bend over backwards, but they have to do what they can do to make sure that this person's rights are seen, or are they upheld, right? Innocent until proven guilty. That's one of them. Right? You've got to get all these steps to put in place. The prosecution has higher degrees of standards that they have to do to make sure that they're bringing forth a case that's legitimate. We've seen that way too much. Lawfare. Megyn Kelly would talk about that over and over about the lawfare that's happening, right? Well, yeah. You don't want lawfare, so therefore, what do you want? You want this person to have their day in court. Can't just be me and JC getting us to the goal, can it? You're right. You're right. Come on, people. By the way, this account's been doing well. Okay, this subscription base or whatever it is in YouTube, we've been doing well. We're getting close. People, I put out more content this week. I'm trying to do what I can to help you out. So I really, really appreciate it. I love doing these podcasts. I love pontificating. I love the back and forth. Jim, Magoo, we, like I said, you do need to come in here because you're one of the people, my favorite people. So we'll have to get you on. We can make these arguments. I think during the trial is when I would really like to have you come on and talk about this. I appreciate you keeping me honest about this as well. All of this, it's just, it's important for us to kind of go down this mode. So I appreciate that. Okay, let's go back here because I want to play this guy coming up
If
here
this
in a
court
second.
wants to call them.
I'm going to skip forward, and she says a bunch of stuff about the media, and then the media attorney comes in here himself.
For openness and against closure. And so I don't think that's what counsel meant to imply, but that's the whole reason we're here, is that no one else represents our interests. That is straight down the middle of what the intervention rule requires. Just a couple clarifications. Counsel said we haven't cited any criminal cases where this has been allowed. That's not true. We cited the court to 8 different cases, all criminal cases in the state of Utah.
That to me is just odd. Why is this counsel not doing their job? I hate that. I was in court, it was about a month and a half or so ago, and it was an issue about my client had gotten a restraining order against her, okay? And so we go to, and it had been almost a year ago. She'd gone through everything, gone through the criminal side, gone through anger management, all these things. She had to do some things. Now, in California, there's a presumption, what's called 3044. It's Family Code 3044. Basically, that if you've got findings of domestic violence against you in the last 5 years, maybe even a nolo competente, criminal, civil, whatever it is, the last 5 years, there's a presumption that the best interest of the child, you should not have custody. Now, you can overcome these presumptions. So she's done what she's had to do. She took her anger management classes. She did X, Y, and Z. There's 5 different things, presumptions to overcome. Some of them don't have anything to do with her because they're like drug and alcohol related, right? If it applies, here you go. So we filed a motion to get more custody. And with that, I had a whole section, 3044 factors. And I went through it, and I made did a pleading about this, a briefing, I guess you should say, about this whole situation. We go to court, and the opposing counsel, who's good, I mean, this guy's not a nobody, but he obviously didn't even prepare for court. And he comes in and he's like, look, 3044 isn't even before the court. And I had to say in rebuttal, I said, I don't even think he's read the brief. I have a whole section in there. It's called Section 4, 3044 factors. Why is he even saying this? it blows me away. I don't know what she's doing here. She went up there. She had a long speech. She pontificated quite a bit, saying he didn't do X, Y, and Z. I'm taking him at face value that what he's saying is true here. It's just fascinating. Let's keep going.
Where this is the procedure that judges routinely follow, including judges in this building. Counsel said that our role is strictly limited to advocating for what is under Rule 4202.04. I don't think she meant this, but as the court probably knows, that just deals with court records. We're also entitled under governing constitutional case law to advocate against the closure of proceedings. And that rule does not technically apply to proceedings, it just applies to records. So just to be clear, but I think we have been clear, and this is all, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of daylight between what counsel was just suggesting our role should be and what we've asked for, you know, which is just if they file a motion that seeks to prevent, that wants to classify something as non-public, like they did last night with the motion to disqualify. They were able to at least provide that to us. It's not very hard to send an email. That's all that we've asked for in terms of the notice. And then we have the right to be heard on those issues. And so I didn't really hear from counsel any reason why we should not be granted limited party status in this case, other than just some sort of, you know, confusion on their part as to what that would actually look like. I don't know how the clerk deals with parties on the docket. I assume you guys can sort that out. Typically, when we intervene on behalf of the news media in cases, they are listed because they are limited purpose parties. But the court can, you know, if it doesn't want to hear from us on a particular issue, it can certainly say that. I mean, we don't have any interest in weighing in on aspects of the case that don't have anything to do with the public's right to know. And so I didn't really hear an argument against what it is that we are asking to do. Just one last point on, well, two things. One is that counsel's chastising us for filing something late. I mean, this was a stipulated motion that got us here today. We weren't asked to weigh in on it. It was submitted, which they just assumed you would sign because it was stipulated. It was only because this court said, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to actually hear from the parties, that we weighed in. So this was not your typical like deadline where we were invited to weigh in and just didn't. Last thing is, in terms of docket access, you know, Mr. Hunt and Mr. Judd and I are all officers of the court. If the court says you can have access to things that the parties are seeking to classify as non-public, but you can't share them with your clients until further notice from the court, that's fine. Some judges do handle it that way. Sometimes we just, you know, if they don't concern closure, sometimes we don't weigh in at all. But, you know, when they file things that they say we need to file this under seal and we're not allowed to see it, then the brief for you is not super helpful, you know.
And there you go. So let's take a look here. Jim said again here, can't just be me and JC getting this to the goal, can it? Well, it sounds like it is. I just got a tattoo of a swastika on my chest. I went to anger management and it did not work. How do you know that the swastika equals anger? That's the problem here. Where is Jack Ruby when you need him? Okay. The defense is scared of leaks. I get that. Could be text, yellow, goal. Okay, I don't know what that means. There you go, people. There you go. So I wanted to play a few little things. So there was some, I had some other little bookmarks. Man, I'm going over. We didn't make the goal, but I'm going over, people. I'm going over. I've got a lot of work to do this weekend with the bathrooms and whatnot. But here you go. This is the kind of shit, and this is why I think this, oops, not this one. The quartering is kind of just shitty, okay? He puts in here, he goes, Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson just so happened to pick the colors of the trans flag for his tie. But yeah, keep telling me it's not him. Well, first of all, just because he's trans doesn't mean he killed him. But, I mean, okay, that could be a motive, but that's not evidence as to why that he did it, okay? By the way, this is why you should not have been able to wear street clothes. The message is very clear. Give me a fucking break. First of all, this person chimes in. I don't know who Rail Baron podcast is, but he's absolutely correct. When you're a criminal defendant, you are at the mercy, basically, of other your counsel, your family, picking something out for you. Okay, so is this? I mean, this seems pretty subdued. So it's got a little pink and blue. It's perfectly fine, a blue. This is the trans flag colors? I mean, is it? This guy says, anyone who believes the incarcerated defendant picked his own tie doesn't understand how the criminal justice system works. The tie was picked out for him. He wasn't presented with options for which to choose. Make of that as you will. Yeah, completely true. I agree with that one. I wanted to play this one because this one here is where Tyler Robinson is looking over there. Let's take a look here because he has.
But the hope would be sometime in April to schedule a preliminary hearing.
Kirk designated.
And I'm probably.
Wait, I wanted to look at here because he's got a lazy eye. I don't know if you've noticed this. This is bizarre to me. So you've got one eye looking here, and then this other one. I've seen it in other videos as well. His left eye is a bit shitty. Is that your sharpshooter? I don't know. I just thought I would throw that out as one more aspect. Okay, last thing I want to get to here is this. This is, I have really refrained from saying much of anything about Erika Kirk. And totally side note of the trial, totally a side note of who killed Charlie Kirk is the fact that his spouse is a little cringe. From day one, I was immediately like, But when you're doing this, when you're throwing out, you're going on these media tours, you're wearing a pin of Israel on your lapel, what the fuck are you doing? What is this? I mean, the last thing your husband said was, it leaves me no choice but to abandon the pro-Israel cause. So what you're going to do is, one, posthumously put out a book by him and wear an Israel pin on your lapel. This is gross. I am not impressed with her. Okay. By the way, I have no interest in TPUSA or whether I didn't before. I wasn't a big fan of Charlie Kirk before. I had problems with him. I've done shows like refuting some of the stuff he said. I think, after the fact, I hate the way he was killed. I did a show immediately, ripping people, Jose, who took a different view of that, and perfectly fine. I'm just not a fan of people getting gunned down the way he was. I think that's just awful. With that all past 3 months, so it's just odd. Her behavior is odd. Now, am I a fan of someone who's, I don't know her from anybody. She's not attractive to me. She's kind of gross. The stuff I've seen from her is kind of gross. The patting your husband, filming it, and then posting it online of your husband in a casket was really gross to me. I mean, if that happened to my wife, I would probably, I'd maybe take a video. I wouldn't say, can you film me crying over her casket? I want that. Oh, now can you post that online? That is just, there's some weird behaviors going there. All the money that's being made off of this guy after the fact, good for you. Perfectly fine. I mean, I think it's kind of weird, but I don't want you ever going along saying, rebuking anybody for doing this as well. Okay. Because she has benefited financially more than anybody from this death. It's just a fact. I think it's kind of gross. I'm not attracted to her. I don't think she's attractive. Okay, so there's some weirdness there. The hawking the book is a little odd, all this. I'm also, though, not a fan of the way Candace is going after her. I think that's weird, too, right? It's like, well, you're Charlie's friend. This was his spouse. That's a little bit odd. I don't think I could ever do that as a spouse, or a friend of someone's spouse, unless I just didn't like him at all. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's what we have here. I don't know. There's a lot of weirdness in all of it. So just throwing it out there. So he was looking at Charlie and George saying at the same time. Okay, you guys, I don't know what. Please don't kill me next, Mr. Israel Pin. Yeah, and you believe Jose killed him? Can you? Can Jose account for his? The pin was photoshopped in. Are you serious? Was it photoshopped in? Well, that's dirty. That is.
The rest of the pool does not contain.
Wait. That is dirty if that's the case. Then I'm sorry that these are the different. Let me take a look here. So let me go to the browser here. I'm just going through some of these different ones. Okay, she has. she has a cell phone. Some people have said, look, this is evidence. I've talked about that. I don't know that his phone is evidence to Tyler Robinson allegedly killing him. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think his phone has something to do with if someone else might have killed him, okay? So her having his phone, people are like, wait, this should be evidence. I've even first thought that, and then once I start to really process and you like put that in perspective, you're like, that doesn't make sense. She can have his phone all she wants. I'm just grossed out by the way she's going on all these podcasts and everything. I just know my wife and I, we would like be recluse. You'd just like deal with friends and family. You don't have to have this before everybody in the public. I think it goes exactly the same way. I've had this difference with a bunch of people now that I've noticed. They're like, and by the way, I really appreciate JHop3 for saying that it was photoshopped in, because that's just gross if that's the case. And this person did that. This Adam person, then I think that's not a good situation. It's really right there at the bottom. Can you see it? That's not cool. That's not cool at all. You know, if you want to Photoshop shit in and do it like I do, where it's parody, so you can at least know that. Kirk was thinking of getting into selling hairless cats. Jose. I'm gonna go. We're gonna cut out here. It's been about an hour and a half. I really appreciate this, people. What am I gonna do? Let me see. My law partner comes back on Wednesday. My parents show up this week. They've been in town. They've been with my sisters, but we're trying to get these bathrooms done. It means I might work from home, which means look for me on Monday. I have court on Monday morning. I'm going to come home. Look for me on Monday if something's going out. You've got to subscribe. You've got to be putting your notifications on. And what's more important, you've got to go over to substack.com. I'm sorry, tyleryankee.substack.com, so you get notifications. Anytime we go live, you're going to hear about it. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more. Back to the last thing I'm going to say, Erika Kirk. I think it's kind of gross how she's doing all of this. It's in the media. So anytime you can't be in the media yourself and then condemn other people for talking about it. Okay, it just doesn't work. It reminds me wholesale. And you guys know my background is cycling. Lance Armstrong won the Tour de France in 1999. He had testicular cancer. I raced against him. He was in, I think it was, I want to say 95 or 96 Tour de France. He got sick. He dropped out. He came home. He came out to, it was called Super Week. It was it was a month. It was, come on, the name in it, Super Week, but it's a whole month of races. It was literally every day there was a different race, and they weren't like the Tour where one relied on the next. You can race one day, not race the next. Anyway, he was out there. He was winning a bunch of shit. I did a bunch of racing with him that whole month. And he then had cancer. He didn't know that's why he was sick. I raced with him with cancer. He still was winning, motherfucker. And then he has cancer. Then he goes on, makes his comeback, wins a Tour de France in 1999, and wins subsequently 6 more for a total of 7. But during that time period, there was a lot of accusations of Lance Armstrong that he is unbelievable. Not unbelievable, unbelievable, right? These are not credible type of performances. This guy David Walsh was writing for the Daily Mail or one of these Euros, and he would write articles and stuff about it. There was little rumors Lance Armstrong would come out and sue people, but what he would do almost invariably, he had the Lance Armstrong Foundation, which was this cancer foundation thing, and he would use it as a shield. Look, how dare you? And people would say, what are you trying to ruin this foundation? You can't say the things about this found it. So they called it the cancer shield, this Lance Armstrong cancer shield that he would throw up in everybody's face all the time. This Livestrong Foundation, this cancer. This is what reminds me right now, Erika Kirk. You can't condemn any of my family in TPUSA, because my husband's been shot. What does that have to do with any of it? It's ridiculous. And it reminds me of the Lance Armstrong, which is you're trying to inoculate yourself of any problems. I believe, and I've said this multiple times, I believe there's a delineation between the murder and the TPUSA. The murder and TPUSA don't have any connection. I don't care what Candace is saying. I don't believe that's the case. I do believe that TPUSA was fraudulent. I do believe that you're going to find out more and more. The more she pushes into this, she thinks that they're connected. They're not. But the more she pushes into this, you're going to find out that there's problems with this organization, that it's top heavy, that the top people are just bilking everybody out. It's this stupid religious thing. You're getting money from Israel. You're getting money from weird donors. You're going to have a lot of problems. It's going to come out. That's my belief. I could be wrong, but I believe that's the case. And so now she's trying to protect this organization. So she's using Candace's free-flowing, maybe a little bit reckless commentary to try to inoculate this foundation, when the reality is they are all in the mix, and there is dirtiness that's going on with TPUSA. And I don't give a fuck if it's, Jim said, Magoo said last time, yeah, but they're the ones that got you the election and not have Kamala. Okay, well, are you going to say the exact same things? Like I just mentioned this last time about Epstein. Oh, we can't go after Epstein. It's going to like burn down the GOP, or it's going to ruin all these people in government. Well, maybe they deserve it. Okay? I'm not telling you Kamala deserved to get elected, but I don't know that TPUSA was in the position to be steering your young kids either. Okay? Just saying that. All right. That's all we've got for this week. Love you guys. There we go. Oh, hey. Oh, whoa, that's a bit much. Super week. Yeah, super week. This is a good brainstorm session, but we need to keep the focus on how to bring back Tower Gang next time. That is absolutely true. Tower Gang forever. Love them. I want to do a members only with me and Cole and maybe Toad. And we're going to play some music from the 70s and 80s that are just raunchy and that would never get away with stuff today. And maybe we'll make some commentary on that. I think to me that sounds like a good deal. All right, that's my Jew alarm, and I think we're out of here. So thanks, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good weekend. Great show. Love you all as always. Until next week. Sight.
Okay, I'm leaving now.
But she's back.
And now.
Tyler, if you had any clout about you, if you had any knowledge of the real world,
none of us are screaming, "Let's kill Tyler."
Tyler says, "My
Jewish princess."
You low key, you're one of the funniest dudes in the Liberty world that I know.
More or less, eat shit and die.
He's just a podunk lawyer somewhere in rural California. He's an idiot, really.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick. I guess that's me. Keep fucking that chicken.
Do you see what he just did to Tyler?
I feel like you don't get the appreciation for your humorous wit.
What are you talking about? I didn't say that. Why don't you argue with something I said, you dumb bastard?